found this on Ganarum. Ganamir. What is it? Well, it's
Synthaholics.
Welcome to Synthaholics, guys. This is your host, David Duncan.
Aaron O'Brien is here too.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we are Synthaholics.com. At Twitter, we are Synthaholic Duo. I am David_J_Duncan. You can email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. What about you, Aaron?
I'm at Blackbird 2004. You can tweet me anytime, night or day. I will respond.
He does respond at really weird times. I work till 2 a.m., and sometimes he responds, which is really weird.
I have a hard time sleeping, honestly. Sometimes I wake up at 3 in the morning, and I'll just check my phone.
And underneath your blanket fort?
Yeah.
On the wooden floor?
Yes. My blanket fort. I'll be sitting there holding off the invaders.
the Dust Bunny invaders.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I don't think there's really anything huge in the news. I haven't seen any new casting announcement for Star Trek Discovery as of yet. So, apparently they're going to be shooting this whole thing starting now with 4 people. Everything else is going to be CGI, I guess.
We don't know anything?
Jar Jar's everywhere!
Oh, God, please no. The only thing I have seen is, not related to Discovery, was the Axanar decision in courts that it's too close to their intellectual property to be a mockumentary of Star Trek, and it's been hence rejected as they can't proceed, at least in this version of the rounds in the courts. So,
isn't it going to like actual full trial now?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's
it's they're calling for a jury now. It's been all pre-jury stuff,
exactly. So
to this point,
so that's I think that's pretty major. I don't know where they're going to draw the line. I mean, how far even their hugely successful Kickstarter can possibly go.
I think they're already broke. Like, I think they've been asking for more money through other kind of donation things because they've been in litigation hell for a year, and they were supposed to finish filming a year ago.
It's a whole thing. The whole thing's sad. I feel bad because it has a great idea. It has a great feel to it. I do feel that there's part of it is that Discovery must have something to do with the 4-year war. I don't know how. I don't know how that fits in, but I think it's kind of like stepping on what they're trying to work on, but who knows? It's just there's too.
I don't know. Like they didn't. I don't know. I feel like the lawsuit came into practice before even they knew who was working on the show. And I think Brian Fuller pitched the time period. So I mean,
he must have had an idea, though.
Unless he pitched it way before, and then they just didn't announce that he brought him on till later.
I think he must have had an idea of what he wanted to get into. I don't know what, but
I don't know. It just seems really strange because I don't think we knew anything about Discovery other than that it was coming until after the lawsuit.
No, we didn't know anything. But of course, there could have been plans on the drawing table. But that, besides the point, that's the only thing that was at least stuck out in my mind. But this week we're talking about the Next Generation. We talked about Next Generation last episode, Best of Both Worlds. This episode, we're giving you maybe not the best of both worlds. We're giving you justice.
We're giving you justice, but this would have been the best of both worlds if it was on HBO, without a doubt.
Yes. So this is Season 1, Episode 8, and this aired November 9th, 1987.
Ooh.
That's a long time ago. That is a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away. Good grief. Oh, man. I was like a kid. I was so small. I was like 4. I was collecting those Cheerios proof of purchases so I could get that Metal Enterprise. We got 2 of them.
And poor
My
guy.
dad stepped on them in the middle of the night and would yell because those things start. It's the worst. This is metal. This is not like a plastic Lego. This is like a big metal thing.
I think it hurts just period. This is written by a gentleman named Worley Thorne. Worley Thorne, an interesting fact about him was he actually wrote one of the scripts for Star Trek Phase 2, which was supposed to air in the 1970s before the motion picture, which we obviously never came to light.
Which Phase 2 morphed into the motion picture.
Right, but he wrote one of the episodes.
Huh.
I don't know. I
The Child, maybe, which they made Deanna Choi go through instead of the Delton.
No, I think the episode was called "Are All Unheard Melodies Sweet?"
Huh.
And Did
it ever get remade to an extra episode?
No, and I looked all over see if there was a script floating around on the internet. I didn't see one.
That sounds like it might have been better than The Child, although...
Well, yeah. So, anyway, so Justice is one of these episodes that if you've seen it, you can't forget it. It is racy for the time.
It's memorable, but like Aaron and I are tackling ourselves because this can't be anyone's favorite. Although, if it is someone's favorite, you can always email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Please do.
Tell us it's your favorite, and we'll read it on the air. And it's just like you were here with us.
Yeah. But with our voice. So the episode starts off, the Enterprise had just dropped off a bunch of colonists on a planet system not far, where they ran into this undiscovered system with a Class M planet, and they find that there is life on it that's look exactly human, and they seem to have such a beautiful, idyllic life where they run around in scantily clothes and have sex anytime they want.
Yes, I feel like Gene Roddenberry heavily influenced this episode because I read the Memory Alpha, and the writer actually used the pen name for this episode because it was changed so drastically from what the original story called for. The original story actually didn't sound that bad.
Gene Roddenberry, for all his vision and stuff like that, he was a horn dog.
He was very horny,
and he just loved the idea of sex. He loved the idea of people getting together and having sex any possible way you could possibly do it. And he didn't really care.
And the weird thing is, like, they didn't even, like... They just hinted at sex the entire time.
Sure.
Like, everyone was doing these weird, hanky-panky games.
Sure.
Like playing, like, dice or whatever. But it's just like, were those sex dice?
Yeah. They were. But... So they decide that Picard decides he's going to send Riker, Worf, Tasha, Troy, and
Wesley.
Strangely, Wesley to
make sure it's okay.
It's okay for kids. All right.
Kid tested, mother approved.
Yeah, this is where Picard's ideas are a little bit in question. But so they beam down, and like I said, they're welcomed warmly. I mean, they basically want to have sex
as soon as they beam down. Like the opposite gender goes up and necks the person. Yeah. It's like they're hugging, but like I'm pretty sure she's like getting all up in that neck and shoulder.
Yeah,
they don't show her face, but then they show it with Wesley because she's like, "I guess I'll just do whatever you normally do."
And he was hoping so bad. That
he wanted so bad,
yeah,
and then she just gave him a little like friend hug.
Yeah, oh nice.
Poor Will Wheaton.
Poor Will Wheaton. Indeed. And we're back.
Poor Will Wheaton. He's not going to score at all this episode. I'm pretty sure everyone else.
In fact, it turns to a complete nightmare for Wesley Crusher. Will Wheaton,
although someone was offering to penetrate him,
but not how we wanted.
Not
to.
in the sexy way.
No, in the deadly way. So they go down to the because I guess they are all looking forward to a shore leave, and they want to have. And they're basically saying this would be a perfect place for us to all come and...
Well, at the beginning, before they went down, Tasha's like, they have no laws. This planet's, like, amazing.
Which is, to Tasha Yar, this must be the greatest place because she comes from Rape Planet.
So instead of Rape Planet, it's Consensual Sex Planet?
Yeah, with no laws.
And orgies?
She's like, how is
that different?
How is this possible? Well, rape's forcing yourself on somebody else.
Well, couldn't they have just embraced the free love thing like this planet did?
It would have been nice, but apparently it's not how it works there. I mean, they said the rule...
How is there rape colonies in this perfect future?
Rape colonies? What? Oh,
where Tasha's from.
Oh, Tasha's from. I did kind of wonder that. Like,
I was like, this is like a utopian future. Like, how is there human colonies unless they, like are they just that far out from the Federation where they can just, like, go whatever they want?
But if we learn anything from the original series, where Kirk once lived on, was it Tarsus 5 and Conscious of the King, where he runs into one of his old the governor who killed everybody on that planet. That colonies can go wrong from time to time.
I guess.
You know, I mean,
100 years in the future, you'd hope they'd figure them out a little bit better.
And it's weird because I was thinking about this when Picard mentions, and we'll get to it, about why they do colonies. Obviously, so the race can expand. But on top of just that thought is that I wonder
new cultures and a new way of life.
Yeah, so they are.
It's kind of interesting.
So you go onto a planet, you start up this planet, but you're going to like your own way of governing, whatever it might be. You know, you could be a totally different type of governance system, and it's sort of like an experiment. I don't know if that's the case, but it definitely seems like each colony has its own like little nuance that's like totally different compared to.
Shouldn't it all be under the Federation government? That seems like a really strange way of doing things.
Well, the Klingon has a Klingon, or not Klingon. The Vulcan has a Vulcan Council, the Science Council, and stuff like that. I don't think they rule just like Earth is ruled.
Well, no, but I mean, they're a different culture. Like, they can't impose. But I mean, if it's a human colony, shouldn't the human colony be?
I don't know if that's the case because I mean, the Indian tribe planet that Wesley goes to at the very end, you know, that's sort of like it's a Indian.
That's true. It's
like we're going to rule using old
teepees and big feather hats.
Yeah, but we're going to do our own version.
Far from the boners of our father.
Yes, exactly. Very far from those boners.
But right near the Cardassian ones. I tell you what.
Unfortunately, you can't do that. But anyways, that's just a musing of mine that while I was watching this, and it's probably all of like, you know, Picard says it, and it's like takes him 2 seconds to say it, and I dwelled on it for like 5 minutes afterward. Anyways, so yeah, they beam down. They were shown the delights of their planet, and while they're down there enjoying sex and free love, and Wesley's getting to know children of his proximate age.
They don't have sex.
Yeah.
On a free love planet, they're just like, no, you can't do that until you're like
in Wesley,
30. Like, I'm just like, what? It just seems
Wesley's at the cusp age where it's like you might get into sex, but you might not. So
he hasn't passed the oral exam yet with his mother yet.
Oh my God. So up on the Enterprise, they keep scanning, and they do see that there's some kind of vessel or entity out there in space, and they can't seem to pin it down. It's there, but it's
there
not.
and not there. It's like a multi-dimensional being ship.
Right. So
it's really cool design. It's really cool. I'd like to see them explore. I wish those aliens came back. I know they use the ship again for something completely different later on in the show.
Yeah, they do use the ship again, but they use Geordi's. Geordi has another power hour where he goes and uses his eyes.
It's like Picard's like, go look at it for real, and like you're sitting the blind guy.
Yeah,
like he's like, why don't you send someone with eyes that work?
Which is weird too, because like, don't the Enterprise sensors do everything Geordi's eyes do?
Exactly. Like they should send like she should send like data or
just shoot a probe at it.
Shoot a probe at it. Like, you know, hey, who's in 10 forward? Take a look at that. Tell me what it looks like. Like Guinan, what is that? I know Guinan wasn't on the show yet, but still, I mean, like, really, there's nobody in their quarters who can just like look out the window. They send the blind guy who's going to give them the exact same readings as the ship can.
Yeah, I found that kind of odd.
I was like, what?
But so Geordi looks at it, and he goes, "This is really weird." And he basically says,
it's like it's there and not there. Whoa.
Yeah, so they're
smoking my reefer.
he's enjoying the finer things on the Enterprise.
Yeah, he just wanted a smoke break. Picard, can I go on a smoke break?
Well,
wow.
Well, anyways, so they decide they're going to try to communicate with the vessel that's out there. The vessel does respond with a godlike voice, shaking the ship, and a bubble shows up and kind of scans the area, but then it decides that it's going to interface with data.
It's a really cool looking CGI ball.
Yeah,
it's not like regular animation like TOS would do.
It is cool looking.
It's like a CGI ball. They did this all the time in season 1, where they had cool little CGI holograms and stuff pop up.
Right.
In season 1, I forgot about until I rewatched season 1.
Yeah,
and then these never come up ever again. It's like they just blew too much of the budget on it in season 1 and they never did it again? Because, like, it was cool how they had holograms, like, every now and then in season 1.
Yeah,
and then you never saw it again.
They did do some cool things there. And,
I mean, and for 80s CGI, I mean, it's not bad.
1987 is pretty decent.
I mean, like, it's pretty incredible.
Actually, this episode, the effects and even the Edos that are down on the planet in the facility they used to tape on, it all looks really well done. Like, there's nothing you can go and be like, oh, that looks like crap. You know, like not like, you know, original series where there'll be scenes you'd be like, oh, like, what is that? You know,
I think it's the first episode for the entire series where they actually filmed on actual locations.
Yeah, and
they did the water reclamation plant, which is basically cleaning sewage water.
Smelled great there.
And I think they did the Wesley falling into the flowers at a library.
And those sewage treatment plants guys had a summer they'd never forget.
Yeah,
scantily
lots
clad
of hot women running around in like those weird.
It's like, this was the best job I ever had.
And the thing is, like they're not like pants for the women; they're like skirts. To really, because I was looking at the bottom.
I'm sure you were looking very hard.
And it's just like, wait, the only place it really secures is like sort of at the waist, and the rest of it's just loose. That's bizarre. It's not even like shorts. It's just like the shortest skirt possible.
And if you're a cosplayer, and if you're a woman,
if you've done this, please send us an email.
Dave desperately wants you to send in those pictures.
I want to see a cosplay. I don't think I've ever seen a cosplay of this. This is...
No, and I don't think you ever will. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's ever been attempted before.
It's so obscure. It'd be fantastic.
And so, anyways,
I'm doing a Justice cosplay.
I'm doing a Justice cosplay.
I'm doing the Justice cosplay Justice.
If you went to like a big, Comic-Con or something like that,
someone's probably done it at Star Trek Las Vegas.
People would get that so freaking
at Star Trek
quickly.
Las Vegas. I'm sure someone's done it.
Or like San Diego Comic-Con, if you came dressed like that, I'm pretty sure
at least someone would get it.
Yeah, I'm sure you get quite a few people.
I mean, if you come to the Buffalo Comic-Con, I will get it. Or Nickel City Con, which will be the next one coming up here in Buffalo.
Dave's not interested if you're a male cosplayer doing this.
If you're a couple cosplay, just come in as a couple. That's fine. That's cool. I will take a picture between you both.
I bet he will. Well, so Riker's enjoying his time down below while they're trying to uncipher this strange entity, half there, half not there. Spaceship out there while Data's interfacing with it. Oh, and by the way, Data kind of like...
So is that counting as scoring for Data?
Yeah, I guess.
You get the interface with it?
He gets a little interface. So he's having sort of like informational sex.
Yeah.
So
isn't that all sex is, an exchange of information?
It technically is, genetic information. So down on the planet, Worf is talking, and he gets the information that basically there's only one penalty for any law that's ever broken, and that's death.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
He goes and talks to Tasha. He's like, Tasha. He's like poking her. Tasha, they kill people for any crime that's done here.
Anything.
And like, basically, if you cross the white border, like, I wonder if someone on the planet cosplayed as white border and ran into people, if they could just get them executed.
Well, and the other side of it is that the mediators that are like sort of the police, they're not always
They're very fit.
Everyone's very fit on this planet. They don't know what sector of the planet these mediators will be at, but it's a pre-selected area, and it's not. They
just monitor the white fence and wait for something bad to happen.
Yeah, they move this flower bed periodically through the whole planet. So anyway,
one flower bed.
So they learn that so these mediators were basically police. Select a certain area. Anywhere in the planet. It could be that day. It could be next week. You don't know. Nobody knows. But if you break a law, the automatic penalty is death. There's no talking about it. There's no trial.
There's no trial. There's no jury. It's like you die.
You die. That's it. You get it. From what we've been.
Man, what if sexual harassment was a penalty on that planet? Everyone would get killed.
Well, but the thing is, too, they did mention that they don't do anything that's uncomfortable. So it wouldn't be like you wouldn't. Even if you did sexually harass somebody, you wouldn't do something that's uncomfortable to another person. So it's hard to say. And they definitely had a different viewpoint of sex on that planet.
Very hippie, free love-ish.
It's very happy. I mean, it's just like, if you just want to have sex, have sex. That being said...
Do you not practice love where you come from?
Oh, yeah. So they decide they got to get everyone together, and they notice that Wesley's obviously gone run off with the kids.
Oh, no. But the thing I think is hilarious is that Riker's like, yeah, go run off earlier. And now he's like, oh, we lost communications. Wesley's run off somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You told him the GTFO.
told him. What do you think?
You told him the GTFO so you could bang the hot blonde.
Of course he did. Yeah. He's like,
and now he's blaming it on Wesley's run off somewhere.
I need some adult time. So Wesley, obviously, he's running around the kids. They're throwing a ball around, and Wesley...
He wanted to teach them baseball, but they couldn't find a bat this big.
How big, Wesley? How big is the bat?
This big. It's in the sex generation video. Like it's hilarious.
But he trips and falls into a flower bed, and apparently this is where the mediators had picked
for the day.
For that day. And Wesley is going to be injected.
He's like, I'm okay, I'm fine. You're not going to be fine. You're going to be 6 feet under soon.
In a few minutes, you're going to be dead. And
if only they carried out the sentence.
Oh, God. So Wesley...
he wouldn't get to be molested by the Traveler later.
Yeah, I mean, that's a golden episode. One
finger or three, Wesley?
One finger or three. Wesley is going to be injected when Worf and Tasha show up and point their phasers. And
they get real militant real quick.
Yeah, they all of a sudden...
I almost can't believe they beamed down with weapons on this planet that Tasha said was like full of peace and had no laws.
Little weird, and then they realize that they've lost contact as well with the Enterprise, so they can't even contact the Enterprise. So there's something blocking them, their transmission to the Enterprise, which is pretty much, you deduce, that's the interdimensional spacecraft outside.
The God ship.
Yeah, God ship.
God ships in space.
This is a running theme for you. I think there's been a couple episodes you've
Well, I did the Mexican in space when we were with Nerdynomicon.
Right. I can't remember what you did the other one.
I don't know. I've been doing lots of stuff in space.
Yeah.
That's my running joke now, I guess. Since everyone doesn't remember the Alamo anymore.
Well, nobody remembers the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo!
The Alamo! All the butt sex. They basically say, well, we didn't know this law. You can't just, throw this in our face.
Watch someone emails us about, remember the Alamo and butt sex. Like, that didn't happen. It's like, no, you have to listen to an episode.
There was no butt sex in the Alamo.
There was in the holodeck version.
Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett did not have sex.
That we know of. Although it was getting scary down there in the Alamo.
Revisionist history. So, and the meteor's basically responses. There's no
They
excuse.
dropped the needle.
There's no excuse for ignorance for the law. It's the law's the law.
What?
If we let you go,
we came here an hour ago.
Yeah,
Riker said sex 3 times, and how are we supposed to know?
Tasha was just getting ready.
Yeah, I bet Deanna got laid a couple times too.
I don't know. She seemed a little shy. And Worf
she's like, healthy sexuality. She's got to see her prude in front of everybody else, and she's like a freak in bed. That's what she got with Worf. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, if she likes broken bones.
Worf was plowing that shit. Well, anyways,
what about good, plain, basic sex? That's what Riker said.
I would need a Klingon woman.
We need a Klingon woman for that, or beta, or half betas. They're fine.
Yeah, you can throw them around like ragdoll. It doesn't matter. They have a healing factor like Wolverine. Well, anyway, so
they keep them tight forever.
Ugh, I can't,
like Deanna Troy's mom.
I can't comment on that. I don't know. Well, getting back on topic. So Wesley's scheduled for execution at the end of sundown, and while they're trying to contact the Enterprise eventually does get in contact with the away team, and they tell them what's going on. Meanwhile, Data comes out of his interface with the aliens and kind of explains that they are, like you said, multi-dimensional beings. They're in different places all at once.
I wonder if they're related to the wormhole aliens.
Possibly. There's some...
The prophets.
And they said that they did, at one time, started out very much like humans did.
Yeah.
And that they kind of just like...
It's so crazy how like things evolve in Star Trek. Some things they become the Q, some things become like the interdimensional wormhole aliens.
Or maybe just a different version that took the same tactic,
Sure.
or same idea. And,
Maybe they're the Paul Wraiths.
It's possible too. Well, anyways, the idea is that they're not gods. They're technically just a type of creature that can live in more than one place at once, and somehow they're monitoring this system in this area.
That's just bonkers. That like there's this video online called The Dimensions, and it describes like the first dimension, second dimension, third dimension, which is all we know. But then it goes up to like 9 dimensions.
Yeah, there's some crazy,
which is like mind-bendingly interesting and stuff like that. And so, like, in order to exist in multiple places multiple times, you have to exist in at least like the 5th dimension,
right?
To be able to be in multiple places and multiple times.
Sure, yeah.
And just like because like if you're in that 5th or higher dimension, you can move through time like we move through space. Mm-hmm. So like it boggles my mind to think of something that can like exist in that thing, because that's beyond our comprehension. But then they build technology that also exists in the same kind of phase,
right,
where it exists all the time and in lots of different places. It's incredible science fiction.
It's great. It's
and theoretical physics.
Yeah, it fuels a lot of imaginations, and your brain can go all sorts of directions with it. But these people kind of watch over the Edos, and they just kind of like, they kind of take up the position of a godhood over them, which they soon discover. Picard beams down to kind of like try to like talk them out of killing Wesley. They don't really seem like they're willing to do it. And here's where we get into the weird issue of this episode. Probably the only big fall down is they bring up the Prime Directive.
I want to talk about that after we get into after we do the episode, because I've got a whole lot to say about the Prime Directive in this episode.
Yeah, the Prime Directive seems to miss the point at this point. Let's save it for later. But basically, Picard says we can't interfere.
They keep invoking the Prime Directive over and over and over again in this episode, and I'm like, if you knew what the Prime Directive said, you wouldn't have been here in the first place.
Well, the Prime Directive, he says we can't interfere with your laws, and if we do, it's going to look badly upon us because we are supposed to be people who follow laws and supposed to respect your laws. Unfortunately, I mean, there has to be a little bit of give on somebody who just had no idea what the hell your laws were when you first come to the planet. So after we come to that, they're not swayed by Picard whatsoever, and Picard decides to take one of the people up to the ship and show
gorgeous blonde with curly hair.
Right.
I bet he brings her to his quarters first before they, it's like, can you show me some of that Edo hospitality?
He wanted.
Can you show me some of the Edo hospitality before I show you the window?
Well, she's amazed with
Send her home. The guy thinks shakes the ship. Is like, I'm not done yet.
Leave my children alone.
I'm not done yet.
Stop diddling my children.
I'm not done yet. Okay, I'm done.
They bring up this lady, and she's obviously in awe with the Enterprise.
It's like, you're gods.
Yeah, you're up here with God. And then she sees the entity up in space through one of the windows, and she bows, and she's very scared. And what happens is
God rushes the ship.
Yeah, the interdimensional beings start coming towards the Enterprise in a very threatening manner. And Picard thinks quick and puts his communicator on and has the transporter chief.
Not Chief O'Brien.
We don't know who it is, but
not Chief O'Brien though.
But to beam her down, and he seems to take a couple minutes to beam her.
It's like, what? It's. I think they fired him for Chief.
He's like, what?
Eventually,
I'm on my coffee break. What? What's that Captain want? Oh my God,
man.
So
I have to walk all the way over from the replicator back to the console.
This job's exhausting. So she beams down, and then he's thinking over the whole situation, and he does.
He keeps ignoring Beverly for the entire time, and then finally she's like, "Yes, I'm not going to let your son get killed. It's fine.
Fine, I'll let you know. I won't let him get killed one way or the other." But then the other side of it...
Although, if I don't let him get killed, we might all get killed by the Edo god. It's fine.
We don't really know what their tech level is.
And we'll die together.
And how aggressive they'll be with our rules. So Picard goes down and makes kind of his last claim, say, hey, look, we didn't know. We do respect everything you're doing here. But you can't just expect somebody who just comes down the planet
just to get killed for falling in some leaves.
Yeah, come on, give me a break. And
they try to beam up and they can't.
Yeah.
And then Riker says something about I can't remember what he says, but
well, Picard starts just screaming into the sky and talking to the Edo God. I don't know if you're listening, but if you're listening, God. I mean, I've had plenty of conversations with God just screaming into the sky, and people just think that I'm nuts.
Like when you're next to the woods?
Yeah. Why is there so much suffering in the world? But, and I never get an answer. But anyway,
does the tree fall down and nobody hears it?
Nobody hears it. But apparently this Edo God agrees with Picard, and they lets him beam up. I personally think that the transporter chief was at the at the replicator again, getting another cup of coffee and a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, and it's like, beam me up. I was like, oh crap. Fuck. That would make a lot more sense.
I think he just was away from his station for he was talking to some chick down the hall. And he's like, oh, damn it. And he's got to run back. He says, they just beamed down 15 minutes ago.
Well, yeah, Terry Hatcher. She was probably coming in to relieve him, and he was trying to relieve her,
Could have been.
Because she was a transporter chief once.
So they beam up, and then Picard asks the entity, he says, do you want us to remove the colonists that we put on the planet just like a couple days ago?
Show me a sign!
And he just disappears, and he's like, well, I was hoping for more than that. I don't even know how you would interpret that period.
That's godlike efficiency. So did they remove them or didn't they? I don't know.
I think that's insinuated that they were going to go and pick them up, which still is kind of like, well, what do you care? Anyways, the episode ends.
So, Prime Directive. Okay, the Prime Directive states you're not supposed to visit a pre-warp civilization. These people hadn't invented the microwave yet.
Well, they had some pretty fancy buildings.
The Edo God probably put them
you think
down
they
there.
Placed them down for them to live in?
Yes. Once they got their act together and everything, once the Edo God found them, they haven't invented airplane. I don't know.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Did you read about that?
Which
about
part?
the area where they're taping filming the movie. I mean, the episode.
Yeah, the reclamation plant.
Yeah. Apparently, there was airplanes constantly flying overhead, and they had to overdub everybody because they were just just
where it was. Yeah.
Because there were so many airplanes flying overhead. They were like, God damn it, another airplane flying overhead.
Oh, that's what you would expect, near Los Angeles,
right? But
that's a busy airport. But it's just they kept invoking the Prime Directive this, Prime Directive that, Prime Directive this. And I'm like, why? You shouldn't even gone down. They shouldn't know you exist.
Yeah.
They don't have spaceships. They don't have airplanes. I bet they don't have microwaves. Their most advanced technology is a syringe that kills you.
Which apparently does it painlessly, which is pretty amazing.
Our death thing kills people painlessly, quote unquote.
That's what they say.
But I mean, other people say they die horrific deaths.
I know. I've gotten into arguments with people about that before. I don't really know the truth because I've never been.
I've never been lethal injected. I don't know.
But the Prime Directive is something which is strange because Prime Directive is mentioned in TOS. The original series where they talk where one of the starship captains, I think from the Exeter, goes onto the planet where he revamps a civilization as that's going through a hard time into a Nazi planet. And that was I think the first time we get the Prime Directive brought up. I could be wrong about that.
I'm not as brushed up on my TOS as you are, so I have to take your word for it. I cannot argue.
I could be wrong. I mean, if I'm wrong, please let me know.
Email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
I don't know if it's brought up, it may be brought up here and there and other times, but it's not. It's never been very clearly spelled out in the original series. It's really the next generation.
And the first several episodes, they invoked the Prime Directive a lot.
In the next generation, they really nailed down what the Prime Directive is.
But I think they're still figuring it out because I mean, even in not Justice, the Tashiar one with the one we both picked for one of our least favorite episodes. The Tashiar, all the black people and
Code of Honor.
Code of Honor, yeah, that one. That one. I think they also invoked the Prime Directive a couple times in that one too, and like I think they're trying to figure out what the Prime Directive is,
right.
Which I guess is why they're inconsistent with it. But I mean, like later on when Data in the episode Pen Pals, when Data's like talking to the girl on the volcanic planet that's going to blow itself up, Data, they at least have technology to reach out into space.
Yeah.
And Picard like scolds Data, reams him a new data hole.
A new data hole.
A new data hole. But like they went down this planet knowing it had no technology. I'm like,
it's a weird thing with the Prime Directive that it still had not been quite banged out yet at this point. This is season 8, episode 1. I'll give it a little bit of a pass being episode 1. I mean, season
8.
1.
Oh yeah, season 1, episode 8.
Did I say it backwards? I probably did.
Yeah, but we're drinking lots of beer, but it's a beer night, not a whiskey night. I mean, they do like watch pre-warp civilizations, like Who Watches the Watchers,
sure,
and the Insurrection, but they like hide.
Yeah,
but like they just like, oh hey, what's up? You want to have sex? Yeah, we want to have sex too. You don't have warp drive? That's no problem. We can have sex without warp drive.
I can show you my warp drive. But that is.
I don't want to. Let's do a saucer separation.
Saucer separation. No, but I don't know why they don't have it kind of figured out quite yet. In to tell you the truth, in a strange sort of way, I sort of like this version of the Prime Directive compared to the later version because it seems like that'd be more interesting. You could interact with people more because
you can interact, but you can't change their laws or whatever. That would be a lot more interesting.
Right.
But I mean, if you you go back and look at Star Trek in the Darkness, I mean, they broke the Prime Directive by even being there on that planet. So it's like, when did they figure it out?
Right. No, I don't. You just don't know. It's just so ridiculous.
Like the Prime Directive is very fluid about when it was like hammered out and like what the rules are.
Right.
There, here, and there.
Right. Exactly.
I think we should do a whole episode on the Prime Directive at some point. I'm pretty sure Andrew Dumais also has suggested that.
Very demanding of us.
Do this. Sorry, Andrew, we haven't gotten there yet. Maybe season 3.
That's right. We'll hit on all thrusters on season 3. Yeah. So, and the other thing is that we were talking about. This is very reminiscent of the episode in TOS, the Apple, which is, they're basically a bunch of natives living out on a planet where there's like a
godlike being.
Well, but
it's a lizard head, so it's cool.
A lizard head with a giant computer running things, basically, and they throw fruit into it to fuel it to give it energy. So that's that.
Are you saying it's an Apple computer?
It is. Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs made this planet.
He knew. He knew.
And Steve Jobs turned down, naming Apple Enterprise when Steve Wozniak supposedly brought it up. Shame on you, Steve Jobs, who has passed away.
What a bastard. Yeah. So what is your takeaway after seeing this episode? I mean, you obviously. It talked about the Prime Directive side of things. Lots of
Prime Directive stuff. It's just like I think that's my biggest takeaway. Really, is that the Prime Directive is such a weird topic, and like it's not fleshed out yet, and it contradicts itself later on. It's like, oh yeah, we can interrupt. Yeah. I mean, because that's the whole movie Star Trek First Contact. Is like Vulcans decided to say, hey, let's come visit you because you've got warp technology, and that's supposedly where the Federation adopted it from.
Right,
but then they just really wanted to have sex. That's just all it comes down to. And like I said at the very beginning of this episode, if this was on HBO, this would have been a very different episode.
Oh yeah,
because the original script for this, it was very, very different. There wasn't I don't think there was scantily clad people running around at all. And I think Gene Roddenberry was like scantily clad, run around, lots of sex implications. Like if this was on HBO, they'd be like. The episode of Westworld where they're just like giant robot orgy.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is what this planet would be.
Right.
Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. If this was on HBO. And maybe they'll visit this planet again in Star Trek Discovery.
Maybe. We don't know.
Before the Edo God comes on.
Before the Edo God ruins everything. Stop diddling my children.
Start executing your criminals with this syringe. I will give it to you.
It's painless.
Quote unquote.
But
what about you? What do you think? Watching, has it been a while since you've seen it?
It's been a long time, actually. I generally avoid
Season one.
Season one. I cannot. Every time I even see it, I just kind of skip it because it's like, oh, season one.
I mean, there's a couple of really good episodes in season one. I tend to skip it too. I suggested this episode to you last week. I was just like, this is fun and silly.
It is silly.
It's a very silly episode. Just the whole outfits, everything about it. It's pretty silly.
A couple things I did,
but it's not awful. I mean, it's not a. I mean, for season one,
I watched it.
It's not awful.
I watched it and I was not like put off in any way.
Production values are extremely high.
Very, very good looking. Everything looks good. Nothing looks weird or wonky. The story flows pretty well for the most part. I mean, besides sending Wesley down the away team, I guess they needed a patsy to fall into the flower bed.
They needed the Mary Sue to get killed. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it could have had Jordy remove his visor by accident and walk into the fire.
That would have been fun.
That would have been actually kind of comical. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great episode and brings up a lot of thoughts about
free love, God.
Well, free love is one thing, but it's interesting that it's like that whole it's an Eden and there's no issues with crime because
there's no bad. It's all good all the time.
Yeah, it's just all good feelings all the time, and you kind of think to yourself is it always that good? I mean,
is it too good? I mean, it's sort of like is it too good? Like, I guess if there's a message to this, is basically if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Probably is, yeah.
That's probably. I mean, that's what I would assume the message of this episode is because lots of sex, that's great. Lots of hot, attractive people running around, that's great. Get killed for falling in flowers, that's not so great. Let's not model our society after falling in flowers and killing people.
I can't remember exactly. But it's one of those things that it's so severe the punishment. And I had a theory a long time ago, and I can't remember who I was just recently telling somebody about this theory, and it would never really work in reality. But what if in our society we were given a chance to kill 3 people without any kind of judgment? You get 3 get out of jail. I get to kill somebody.
Ooh.
Just think about how our society would change. People would not.
So you're talking about the purge, but limited.
Yeah, limited. You get
it doesn't happen once a year. Everyone just gets 3 people.
3 people, and you might never use those 3 people. But it's if somebody really pisses you off, and you're just I am done with this person. He or she is.
Don't kill me, Aaron.
But the other. Yeah. You'd be the first to go. But the thing is, then you have to worry about retribution and stuff like that.
Family coming after you.
Yeah. I mean, it's you kill somebody, and then it's you killed my son, I'm coming after you, kind of thing.
Because I don't know, something that's really interested me about murder and stuff like that in the Bible was that there was
cities of refuge.
Cities of refuge, yeah. Where if you accidentally killed somebody, you swung your axe, the axe that you had, right. You bought the dollar store axe instead of
the dollar store axe
instead of the Home Depot axe,
and the axe head flew off and stuck in the guy's head,
and you killed him. You could flee to a city of refuge,
which was probably funny for the first half second when they're oh my god, you're oh my god, I went in your head, and then they die oh shit, I just killed Frank. Fuck.
His family's going to come after me. I should probably head out to the city of refuge. I mean, that, to me, that's just such an interesting concept.
And they would the family member that's hunting them would literally stand outside the city waiting for them to come out.
Yeah.
Waiting. Sooner or later they're going to give up, or they're going to get hungry, or have to take a poop. So...
I don't know. I think there's a place to poop inside the city of refuge. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be very refuge.
No, I meant the people waiting for revenge.
Okay. Those people.
Yeah.
Because it would be the city of refuge and the city of refuse.
Yeah. No.
No, but I just thought it was such an interesting concept, accidental murder and just because you're talking about retribution from people, it's
sure.
Will we have to set up our own cities of refuge and this weird dystopia that you're talking about?
Right. And then the side of it too is that then there's no judge and jury. There's nothing on the planet of Edo. They don't have any judge and jury. There's no real court of law.
But the thing is, I'd almost kind of rather cities of refuge at this point because our law system is so messed up. Just if you've got money or if you're a powerful person in general, which probably means you have money, you get off of because you can hire the best lawyers and they can come up with crazy defenses and they can get you off. And then you've got, Serial, the podcast called Serial. We've got Adnan Syed. There's zero evidence convicting him of the murder of his girlfriend, but he's put in jail just because a guy said he was there that he saw him. I mean, there's these crazy cases. I just feel like justice isn't really just nowadays. It's
definitely become a bit of a mockery of justice. I'll agree with you on that. I don't because
if you have money, you'll probably get off, and if you're a famous person, you'll probably get off. If you're not, they won't even look for anybody else. It's just it's not justice.
It's like the OJ trial. I mean, it was like obviously anybody looks at the evidence. OJ pretty much killed his wife or his ex-wife. And he had the money to throw down to beat the prosecution.
He had 3 lawyers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, the FX show that they did for that was an amazing show. It's really well done.
I mean, and I was very very in tune to that at the time. But anyways, that's all being said.
That's about the age I started paying attention to news.
Well, anyways, so that being said, it's an interesting concept. It does leave a little bit of, what happens if the mediators did not
catch him
or did not have that sector and somebody murdered Wesley. Like, what would happen then? They would go free,
or would the kids have reported him?
But they had not selected that area, so that means that nothing happens. Yeah, there's holes in that as well. I mean,
sure,
maybe there's a contingency for that they just never explain. But I mean, it's nice to have a simplistic view of justice, but I don't think justice is not that simple, unfortunately.
I think that's the part. I think that's what Riker says. Justice is not black and white.
No,
it can't be because there's got to be factors. Just
there's lots of gray areas, and it's very difficult. And even the most
Riker knows all about shades of gray.
No, but even the most contentious trials. I mean, there's lots of information you have to consider. So you can't just go into that. And the other side of it that interests me was the idea of a god, a technological god that kind of governed over the people or watched over the people. I thought that's an interesting concept. We've seen that. I mean, like I said, we saw that in the Apple, but that was more of a computer.
Also kind of Deep Space Nine with the wormhole alien gods.
Sure.
But the wormhole gods, they lived inside this weird... Within the wormhole, which is a weird place to live anyway. Sure, but I think it's interesting that there's wormhole alien type species with that interdimensional power with technology. They don't live in this nebulous black hole in space. They live in
some in between space.
Between space, but it looks like a piece of technology. It looks like a floating city.
Right. And we've seen things similar to this before, here and there. In different sci-fis, where there's sort of a god-type creature, like that, but it's technically just, advanced race or person that's taken up that. So that's always an interesting concept. And, a lot of times, I've thought about, the concept of God. What if God is just, some advanced race that's far beyond us and, we don't even understand the concept of it?
Well, I mean, that's basically what Picard says, or Beverly says, any kind of being that's sufficiently advanced enough will look
like a god.
Like a god to them. And, to Picard, I mean, those aliens should have been godlike. I mean, being in multiple places at once and phasing in and out of dimensions. That's
to Picard,
and to anyone in the Federation. Anyone
Q would have looked like a god.
Q did definitely look like a god.
I mean, Q is probably the closest thing you're going to get to God in Star Trek.
Well, I don't know. Q, I guess he's technically in multiple places at the same time, but you only really see him. Because he's played by an actor. Right. But technically, that ship, since it was phased in and out, was in. They said it was in multiple places.
Sure. Yeah.
Simultaneously. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, it's
omnipresent.
Yeah, it's a cool concept. Period. I mean, and did they plant the Edo people onto that planet?
That's what it made it sound like. They planted the Edo.
Was the Edo there and they took it? They took notice of them and decided to.
I think they planted them.
Yeah. Might have
It
been
was a couple of days ago I watched the episode.
pretty, maybe some weird grand experiment or something like that. But just interesting concept. And actually, this whole episode brings up a lot of interesting concepts. I didn't like how it wrapped up, how, Picard just starts screaming into the air and then they just listen to him. Or my theory is that the transporter operator was
trying to flirt with Terry Hatcher. And
was in a different, like, was down the hallway or something like
Come
that.
on!
It's like, come on, Picard, you just beamed down 15 minutes ago.
You want to come back already?
Jesus.
You finished really fast, man.
God. I really thought you'd be down there for at least a half hour. So... who knows?
There isn't more than one transporter room in the Enterprise.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but he's the one on duty. That's why they fired him.
Good old Chief O'Brien. He never leaves his post.
Nope, just stays there.
Beams up Tasha naked, like in the comics.
Yeah.
then beams her up a thong just so she has something to wear.
It's weird because it was seeing Denise Crosby, a very young Denise Crosby. I don't know. It's weird. It's looking back because they're all very, very young. Even Patrick Stewart looks young. And Patrick Stewart doesn't really age that well. I mean, doesn't age that at all, should I say. Not well, but he ages very well. But they all look very young. But, yeah, Denise Crosby, something about her, I never found her that attractive.
I didn't either. Like
she's not ugly.
No, she's not. I mean, I almost thought she looked more attractive in Trekkies 1 than she did.
And Gates McFadden, like... I thought she got more attractive as time went on. Like, this was like, she looked really skinny in this. Like too skinny. Like, she looks like she was obviously just trying.
I thought Gates always looked good. Marina Sirtis always looked good. But someone who does look better with age, without a doubt, is Gillian Anderson. Like, I think she looks way better now than she did in the 90s. And she's like, in her 40s going on 50 if she's not already 50. I have no idea how old she is, but I mean, like, I think she looked like in the last couple seasons of Hannibal, she looked absolutely stunning. Like,
there are some people.
She was great looking in the X-Files back in the 90s. Some people she just looks way better.
Some people grow into their looks way better, or something about them kind of they hit their stride when they're later in life. I've seen that more than once. But yeah, Denise Crosby, didn't find her that attractive, and Gates McFadden, I think. I think to me, it could be her hair too. Her hair was very flat looking, but also, and I don't mean to judge. I mean, Will Riker. I mean, Jonathan Frakes. I don't think he looks very attractive without his beard.
His beard makes him.
And he throws on a few pounds in between
season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, and it does help. He just doesn't. He's too skinny.
Yeah, he just seems like more like a bear of a man in season 2 and forward. He just looks. Yeah, I think he looks a lot better.
And
too.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm bringing up Jonathan Frakes because I don't just judge just him. Just because or just women because I'm looking at all the cast. The only one who really makes sense.
Brent Spiner pretty much stays the same.
He stays the same almost till the very end of the seasons. He starts kind of like getting a little bit of weight. But I mean, by that time they've
sure. I mean, it's 7 years. So you started in your 20s, and you're like. On the cusp of 30 or they're starting in the mid 20s and they're in their mid 30s getting close to 40
you're gonna start gaining weight
sure
and you're living a pretty good life because you're getting
getting good checks
checks, you can eat well and all that stuff. So
Michael Dorn looked pretty
Michael Dorn doesn't change, but
he's also under a lot of makeup.
Yeah, and as they say, black don't crack. So that's what it comes down to. Most black people, they look pretty good until they get to the very last couple of years of their life, and then they start kind of falling off. The wheels start falling off. But
yeah, Michael Dorn, he still looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like and Ted too. He was gay with the guy from The Tick.
No, so yeah,
it's just really funny seeing them together. It was The Tick. They're so dry, and Michael Dorn was also really dry in that movie too.
Right.
It was pretty funny.
But yeah, so it's strange seeing them all so young, but nice too at the same time.
Yeah,
I think that they're all
30 years old now.
Yeah, I think they're all babies.
Yeah, wow, 30 years.
Yeah, because 87. This is 2017. Yeah, it's 30 years.
30 years, man! It's like, and Star Trek. Star Trek's great. It's timeless. I think it'll stay timeless.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, I think always every time it's weird that I watch the first season of TOS and how slim and awesome Shatner looks, and then third season he starts looking rough. Like, he gained about a good 15 pounds in between that time, It's definitely...
And then when he lost Star Trek and lost a lot of weight, and then he did that the Devil's Doom, the Devil's Reign movie, and he looks like how he did at the beginning of TOS. At the very beginning, he's slim again.
Slim again.
He looks good until they poke out his eyes and.
Well, that was when they. That's when he was living in the back of his
pickup truck.
Pickup truck. He was sleeping back there. Yeah.
Poor William Shatner.
I know. It's an interesting life, for sure.
Oh yeah. Did you get to watch For the Love of Spock?
I didn't watch all of it. I watched half of it, and I got kind of cut off from watching it. So
we should talk about that sometime, probably.
Yeah,
maybe get Bonnie Moss back and see if we can talk to her if she wants to talk about it.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'd love to do that, for sure.
For sure. Do we have anything else to say about Justice?
No, I think we've done some justice. I thought it was funny because we did Best of Both Worlds last episode, and then we're jumping into this. Best of Both Worlds, probably one of the high water marks of TNG, and then we kind of like just, oh, you thought it was going to be better? No, we just went to first season.
We didn't go into family. No, we went into Justice.
We didn't go to family, and we could have done worse. We could have gone back to animated series, but we didn't do that to you.
We didn't do that to you. No, we're staying with TNG because TNG is the fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Is the fan favorite.
Absolutely.
Well, now that we're wrapping up, we're getting close to the end of season 2 of Synthaholics, guys. So what I wanted to throw out there was that for season 3, I want to change the Synthaholics voice that you hear at the beginning of the show. I want to make it sound like the Borg. So if you guys want to contribute,
if you want to be a Borg,
if you guys want to contribute to how Synthaholics, our new opener, it's going to be the same. It's just the word is going to be you guys. I want to get everyone saying Synthaholics. Just say Synthaholics, like not too fast, not too slow. Basically, how it's said in the beginning. If you just say that and send it to us, say it a couple times, so we've got a couple samples, and I want to edit them together and just make it sound like the Borg.
And you can
for the intro.
And most people, I don't know if you know or not, but you probably have a voice recorder on your phone.
Sure.
And then you can export that voice recording,
or email it directly from your phone.
Well, that's what I meant. Is you can just email it. You can export it by just going to your email and just attaching it as a WAV file, or however the file comes out of your phone.
Yeah, send that to us at synthaholics@yahoo.com, or if you want, send us a message on Facebook. Maybe we can set up a Dropbox for you if it's not working through email for some reason. Contact us. Mm-hmm. Message us on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/Synthaholics.
Right.
Let us know. I'll say Synthaholics twice, and then say Synthaholics, a Star Trek podcast. Say that twice also. Synthaholics, a Star Trek podcast. Just that way we can get maybe a couple different versions to change up the intro a little bit. So you guys can be a part of the intro, hopefully. So I hope that excites you guys, because it excites me. It's actually been on my mind since before we started season 2. I wanted a different opener for season 2. It didn't happen, and then I wanted to do this as season 3's opener. So instead of jumping the gun, I'm waiting. So send us your emails. Let us know if you guys want to contribute. Message us on Facebook. We'd be happy to set up a Dropbox for you if you want to just throw it into a Dropbox instead of emailing us if email doesn't work for whatever reason.
Right.
Or always email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. We'd love to hear your takes and try to edit this together and try to make this a really cool intro that everyone can be a little bit a part of.
Yeah, and if you got anything else to say to us, you can send that to us too.
Yeah. Well, we can
listen to it.
We can save that audio and play it on the air.
Yeah.
in your own words. And if you don't want to just email us, you can always. I mean, if you don't want to send a voice, you can always email us, and we'll read that on the air.
Yeah.
Synthaholics@yahoo.com. We always love getting email. Always love reading it.
Absolutely.
So we can just get your take on it, because we of course we want to talk to you and talk Star Trek and everything, but we want to hear your takes. We want to hear what you guys think. We want to hear your opinions and thoughts, because it's more than just Aaron and I and Guy. When we're able to get Guy,
it's all of us.
It's all of us. So we want to hear what you guys think, and we want to be able to comment on it and agree or disagree.
We are one big happy fleet.
Happy Starfleet. Lots of beer and lots of whiskey and lots of whatever you love to drink.
Right, exactly. Romulan ale.
Fast burners.
Yeah, but definitely contact us and send in those audio files. If just pull out your smartphone, record yourself, and then shoot us email.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, once you're done with that, to go on to iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio or Google Play Music. We are at all those places. We need your likes, we need your stars, and we need your written reviews.
Absolutely.
Because the more of those we get, the more we get seen, the more they move us up on the charts, the more people will find us and listen to us, because we want to be heard by as many people as we possibly can. And if you guys can help us out with that, it would be invaluable to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, give us stars, give us ratings, and throw us. We have a Patreon page. We have a Patreon at Synthaholics.
Yeah, patreon.com/Synthaholics.
Throw us $1 a month.
Yeah,
it's $1. It doesn't say. I mean, you spend more on that on buying extra buttons for your coats.
Sure, most definitely. I mean, it's wintertime, at least here in Buffalo. I mean, it's wintertime everywhere in the U.S. at least. And, I'm sure it gets cold even in the South, so...
Absolutely. No, but $1 a month, it helps. It goes a long way.
And if you want to spend more, we do release extra commentary episodes where we sit down, play an episode, and we just talk straight over the episode.
And you can gear it up with us and listen to us at the same time.
Yeah, and that way you can hear the Synthaholics take on an episode as you watch it. It's a lot of fun.
It's like us having us in the room without the smell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except when you talk back to us, we're not answering you. It's just audio. Wow,
yeah,
sorry.
Can't do that.
Maybe one day it'll be interactive once we get the technology.
Someday.
When podcasting technology takes off.
Then people never leave us alone.
Yeah. Well, also Guy Davis, he has a Patreon, patreon.com/GSDavisArt. Support him because he does the Star Trek comic USS Tamerlane and Witches of Flame, and he's an artist for a living. So he's a really awesome guy, and support the arts.
Absolutely. Yeah, Guy would appreciate it, and we so want to see more continuation of his comics.
Yeah, he does fantastic work. He's a great guy, and you've heard him on the show. He's super Trekkie, and he is super insightful.
Absolutely.
Listen to our Galileo, Where Art Thou? I had nothing to say in the episode because he had all the content, and I was like, wow, you know so much. This is awesome.
Absolutely,
it was a lot of fun.
Right,
so thank you so much all for listening. Send us those emails, send us those recordings, and we'll see you in the next week and in season 3.
Awesome.
Live long and prosper, my friends.
You can sing and we'll cry till we laugh, and we'll both shit our pants. You're the best drinking friend I ever had.
Shall we get shotted?
Shotted. Right.
I shot my pants.
I shot my pants.
I really like coming over to record at your house because it's sort of like recording at work, because like I put on Warp 11 on the way, because on days I recorded at work I would put on Warp 11 and listen to it all the way there.
You get all yeah,
it's just crazy. And at home I don't do that because I'm just at home, so I'm just
like Do we got any
snacks? You listen to Warp 11 on the way to my house?
Do we got any snacks? No. I listen to hardcore rap.
Gangster rap.
Yeah, I listen to some NWA, some Eazy-E,
some Eminem.
No, not Eminem. Eminem.
All right, cool.